Welcome back to the Raising Rock podcast. I am Elise and I am your host. Today is the official launch of season 2 of the podcast. This is really a pinch me moment. For those of you that were with us in season 1 just kind of happened. It was not something that I had intentionally planned for Raising Rock. It just kind of happened. I kind of knew I would eventually want to do a podcast, but never thought it would happen when it happened. So to not only have gotten through season 1, but to be sitting here talking to you about season 2 is such a pinch me moment, such a blessing, and an opportunity that I do not take for granted and a weight that I do not take lightly. I am truly so thankful for this opportunity. I'm so thankful that you choose to tune in every Tuesday. You have so many options of podcasts to listen to, and you choose to be here, and it means the world to me. So what's happening in season 2? Well, I'm really excited to share few big changes. One is we have an entire year planned of episodes. So we are booked through the rest of the year, which is crazy for me to be able to say. I remember season 1 thinking, how am I going to get 20 people to say yes to being on the podcast? And so here I am in March, fully booked through the rest of the year of amazing guests and great content coming your way. And again, it's pinch me. I feel so excited and honored and blessed that I get to do this with all of you. Another big change is on the last Tuesday of every month. My mom and I will be doing what we're calling a solo episode together. I get it. It's not really solo because it's not just me. It's not just her. It's us together. But it's really just going to be a reflection of what's on our heart that month and what the Lord is revealing us in devotions or at church or things that we're seeing on social media that we want to call attention to. So it's going to be just a really fun way for us to share and hopefully impact not just your motherhood or parenting journey, but we hope that they're really just great things for practical, wise living. So those will be launching the last Tuesday of every month. All other episodes will be on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. So mark your calendars, follow us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube to be notified when an episode drops, but it'll always be on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time for the rest of the year. We don't have any plans to take any breaks as of yet, but we'll see what the Lord does and what he has planned for the podcast. So we are just, again, I keep saying I'm so excited, but it's so true. I am just so excited and so thankful. So before I get into who our guest is for today, if you could, let's start season 2 off on a great foot. Pause this episode, go follow us on whatever channel you're consuming this content, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Go follow us on Instagram and make sure that you comment on a recent post or comment on an episode. What was your favorite episode of last season? What guest do you want to have on this season? But just leave us a comment because that does make us discoverable to a new audience. And I know that sounds so crazy, but engagement matters. And every time you guys like an episode, like a post, follow us, make a comment, share, save, whatever it is that you're doing, it really does help us become more discoverable to a new audience. And it gives us credibility when I'm trying to book future guests, that there are people listening and watching and engaging. So really, everything you do does make a big difference. So without further ado, today's episode is an exciting one for me. Arlene Pellicane is a very dear family friend. I have known her most of my life, and it has been such an honor to watch her just explode in the space of digital technology, social media, screen addiction for our children, video games. She has become an expert voice in how to navigate the digital world with our children. And so she is bringing so much of that wisdom, practical tips and tricks to this episode. And you guys will not be disappointed at how great this episode is. So get your notepad out because there are some really practical things that she's going to share with us that we can be doing to help our children either become less addicted or not become addicted to all the technology. So take notes and let me know what you think. So without further ado, Arlene, welcome to the Raising Rock podcast. Arlene, welcome to the show.
It's so great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It is so fun. And I'm excited to dig into the interview and for the audience to get to know a little bit more about how we know each other, which is going to be so fun because we know each other in real life.
Yes, for a very long time.
It's so fun. But before we do that, let's just dig right in. How can the overuse of technology and screens rob families, and what is it robbing them of?
This is a huge question. And just those of you who are listening can think of your life pre-video game, pre-phone, pre-Snapchat, pre-Fortnite, and then think to yourself, oh, what is my life like now? So there's a couple things at work. I think one thing it's really stealing is your child's brain development. So that is a huge topic. What is happening to the brain? How is your child? So in normal life, dopamine, which is that pleasure hormone, is a normal God-given thing. I came home from school. My mom made me a little sandwich, little dopamine. Oh, I have to go do my homework, little drop. Oh, I need to she served my favorite dinner. I love that. Oh, she says I have to take a bath. That's all normal. Enter video games, social media, YouTube, TikTok shorts, whatever it is. And that dopamine spike is so high and so addicting that for a child who, once they're exposed to that, if you say, oh, let's take a walk. Who wants to take a walk when I can play this video game? Let's go see grandma and grandpa. Oh, I don't want to do that. I have to check on my social media and make sure I'm not missing anything, because that dopamine spike. So one of the things it's robbing is just that nice, healthy brain that just ebbs and flows up and down like normal life, instead of really spiking up so high and then getting all those temper tantrums at the bottom. Time. So let's say if you're the average child, you might be spending 4 hours a day on social media, 7 to 9 hours a day on screens. You can imagine if you just spent 2 of those hours learning some kind of skill, whether it's music, art, building, 3D printing. And if you're a kid and you spend 2 hours a day on some kind of skill, by the time you leave your home, you're going to be pretty good at it. So it's also robbing us of skills, competence. Think of screens just make us do what's easy, because we have very low effort but high reward. We get to sit there. Oh, it's so fun. All I did was sit here and watch it, and I get this high reward, versus normal life, reading a book, doing chores, doing your homework, serving someone else. That's no fun. So our kids are missing out on the patience required to be someone with, and let's just think of rock. What does it do to respect? A lot of times it's not, oh, I got a phone. Now I really respect my parents, right? Now they're learning oh, my parents don't know anything. So respect, obedience. When you say to your child, come to dinner, and they're like, yeah, I need about 45 more minutes on my game. Courage. It's really hard to stand alone when you're on social media. When a child is on social media, it's crazy. It makes them conform so quickly, because let's say you spend an hour just scrolling through things, and every post you look at is 3 or 4 seconds. In an hour, you would have had so many impressions, and you understand what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in social media. And most of those things are anti-Christian. A lot of them are. So if you're courageous and you say, I don't think you should be doing that or whatever, you're going to be left out. And kindness. A lot of kind kids enter the world of video gaming or social media, and then you think, who is this awful, frustrated, annoyed, angry child, when they were something very different a few months ago? So yeah, there's quite a lot that it robs.
So when you say screens, you're talking video games, social media. Is it also including TV, iPad? Broadly describe what we're talking about here.
Exactly. So when we're talking about screens, it's any device, right? So whether it's small, big, any device. But I will say, the smaller the device, the bigger the problem. So for instance, if you have a flat screen TV, you know what your child's watching. They might be there at 3 o'clock in the morning, but probably not. You know what's being watched. The TV of when I was a little kid, right? It's this big old thing in the living room, and you don't take it with you. So the bigger, it's good. Like a family movie night, that's fantastic. Would call that a digital vegetable. It's something that builds up your family. But the digital candy, and as my friend Claire Morrell talks about, she says it's not even like sugar anymore. It's more like fentanyl. So this digital fentanyl, it's portable. So anything your child carries with them. So they carry a tablet, they carry a phone. It's really easy for them to get to it. I like to take out a bag of M&Ms. I love chocolate. and show people. If I had this huge bag of M&Ms and I put it right on my desk and I said, I'll just eat 10. And I journaled about it. I got a prayer partner about it. And I fined myself $25 if I ate it. Like, I'm going to eat it because it's right there. And for us to realize as parents, the more portable it is, that big bag of M&Ms, that phone that is the portal to all these fun things for your kids, if it's easily accessible, they're going to access it and they're going to use it more than you want them to. And let me say this, there are different things. So like social media, pornography, video games, that's going to, by social media, YouTube is included in that. Those are much more addictive than obviously Word, Excel, Google Classroom, right? No one's coming home and, oh, I've really been spending a lot of time in Khan Academy lately. I've got to shut that out. So there's obviously addictive things that are different than other things that we have no problems with.
That literally just made me laugh out loud. I spent too much time in Khan Academy.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so good. I've spent too much time in Excel today.
So much time. The spreadsheets.
Oh, that's so good. What are your thoughts on utilizing a tablet when you're traveling or you have to take your kids to a long doctor's appointment? Maybe it's not in your home regularly, but you reserve it for, we've got a solid 5 hours on an airplane that you have to sit still for.
Yeah, I love this idea. And when I got a phone in my 40s, Lucy was 2 at the time. And she was like, oh, that phone. She was so excited. And just in that moment, I hadn't pre-planned it. But I was like, oh, no, Lucy, this is mommy's phone. But when we're on an airplane, you can use mommy's phone. And she thought about it. She's, I went on an airplane to see grandma and you didn't have the phone. Can I use it now? They're already like thinking about it. I was like, no, you have to use it. No, you have to use it on a future trip. But I think for special occasions, trips, things like you have an important meeting. And then, wow, if I give this to them for 45 minutes, they will literally just sit there while I'm in my important meeting. I think that is fine because check that out. That's special time. It's, whoa, I got to have it. I rarely get to have that versus if they have it all the time and they get it on the airplane, that's a little bit different. But I think for special occasions, it's fine. I will say this, my husband, James, when we go on road trips, right? So we'll drive to Mammoth. We live here in San Diego. It's like a 7-8 hour drive. And you would think he would utilize the DVD player, right? All dating myself with all this. But he wouldn't. He'd be like, this is my car and you guys are going to listen to my books. And we'd listen to all, and he would try to make them as interesting as possible to kids. But we were listening to like normal things. And it was the kids who had to enter the adult world versus the opposite.
I try to do that on little things. So when we're driving, the kids always want to listen to music. And I, for the most part, if it's Forrest Frank or whatever, I have that on. Yeah. But I'll occasionally put a podcast on and be like, you know what? This is my car. We're going to listen to my music or my podcast. But man, doing that on an 8-hour road trip, that's brave.
I know. And actually toward the end of it, he was like, oh, I would have let you watch a movie. And we're like, you would have? And then we like gave away that car. You know what I mean? The car died. And then we're like, we missed the opportunity to ever watch a movie on a road trip. But believe me, we're in an airplane. All of us are watching movies for sure.
Okay, good. If we're thinking about, just if I'm being totally honest about my life and our routine and where I struggle, we homeschool and it does not come naturally for me. I don't love home education. I love the freedom that it offers, but I don't just wake up every morning with my fire lit by homeschooling. I'm thankful for it. The Lord is using it in our life. It's good, but it does not come naturally for me. And so part of the fruit of homeschooling is that we're always together. And there's a lot of beauty in that. And there's a lot of joy in that. But there's also, we're always
together.
And sometimes the only opportunity that I have for any reprieve, to do a load of laundry, to prep dinner, is to put the TV on. And they have tablets, but they literally are locked in our safe and they only come out if we go on the airplane. So those are not a thing. We don't do video games. So it's literally the TV and it's the Yippee app or the Dude Perfect app, things where I know what they're watching. And I just find myself going to that more than I would feel comfortable with because of some of the other life decisions that we've made. And they go outside all the time. They're involved in a co-op. I'm not talking about 7 to 9 hours a day. I think you said 7 to 9 hours a day is average. Right. It's maybe an hour a day, if I'm being totally honest, which I hate even saying that out loud. So I'm like, I let my kids watch an hour of TV every day. But they're not at school. They're not on a school bus to and from school. That is sometimes the only time that I can get. Yeah. And they're going outside and I get some time there, but I'm still popping out and watching them. And is everyone alive and not strangling one another? So it's just, I don't know. I would just love some thoughts from you for realistic life for women who are like, my kids are with me all the time. Yeah. They're not going to school. This is the only opportunity I have to get a little break.
Yeah. So first of all, you're doing pretty good. Right? People are listening. They might be thinking, oh, wow, at least you're doing an hour. Like I'm doing 5 hours. I'm
maybe
doing
2.
3 hours.
Maybe two on a really rough day, okay? But I feel like it's like an hour-ish.
And please know, like we are not perfect. Like we didn't do this perfectly either. So I think you said a few key things there, that you'd know what your kids are watching, which is really helpful. And I love like going to the thrift store and getting an old DVD player, because guess what? There's a start and an end that your kids can still have that. Oh, I got to watch my favorite show, but you know exactly what they're watching. And then it ended. Cause that's what the hard thing is. Let's say they're on Disney Plus, they're on whatever, and it's ended, but then now something else is queued up. And so every day it's, no, you have to turn it off. No, you have to turn it off. So understand Netflix, all those people, they are competing with sleep. And that is a design feature that you have to be the one to shut off this amazing new thing that just came on. And obviously we barely have the control to do that. So it's really hard for kids to do it too. So just understand it's engineered to keep your kids wanting more. So the more you can do simple little DVD, it begins, it ends. That's awesome. I think that's great. Your kids they'll adapt. They can adapt to what you create as the normal. And I hope everyone listening doesn't feel condemned or embarrassed. That's not what this conversation is about. This is about, what would that ideal day look like for you? What would you be satisfied with? And there is something a little inside of us that we're like, oh man, they're watching too much. Like I just let that slide too much. So when that happens, to be like, okay, tomorrow is a new day. So we're going to keep that tighter lid of 1 hour. Or I'm going to tell them, okay, we started at 4. So by 5 o'clock, this is the new activity that's going to happen. And just making, like being bored, that is okay. I've been watching Arthur Brooks. He's this amazing psychologist, and talking about the value of boredom. When our kids say that they're bored, we like go crazy to try to entertain them. But it's in that boredom that their minds start like chunking through their day and kind of organizing everything, where they might get a hobby that they never even knew that they liked, that they develop patience. All those things are really good. So if your kids are just, oh, I'm so bored, be like, hey, read a book, do some chores, help me clean, help me in the kitchen. And all of a sudden they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm not bored. I'll go find some toys on my own. I've heard all the different rotating toy boxes, things that kind of have a novelty to them that come back. And honestly, just making your kids like, I'm sorry that you're bored, but your 1 hour is done. Go find something else. And lots of trips to the library. Here is a totally free resource, right? That you can find books, you can order them. Sometimes the library doesn't have as many books anymore, but you can get those books on hold. And there's a lovely feeling of walking into a library with books on the hold shelf for you, exactly in these subjects that your kids are interested in. So tap into the power of books, the power of play, the power of art, the power of music, and also realizing it's okay for them to be inconvenienced. It's all right.
What is a symptom or a sign in the home that your children might have too much? So maybe that quiet voice isn't piping up in your head and you're just in survival mode. But is there a sign or a symptom that moms can be watching for of, hey, this might be time to look at?
Yes. I would say a couple things here. So casual, at risk, addicted. So let's say you've introduced a new game and you're wondering like, okay, it looks fine. Like it's not violent. People can't get into it. It doesn't have a chat feature. Like it seems fine. So casual is, hey, my kid plays this once a week and it seems fine. And that's great. Wonderful. At risk is, okay, we play for half an hour on Saturday, But Monday, they're asking like, can I play again? Wednesday, can I play again? Thursday, how come we only can play on Saturday? Joey gets to play every other day. How come you're so strict, right? Okay, you're really into this. You've been really thinking about this. So we do need to keep it once a week or maybe even pull back on it. So the interest of the child, the fixation of the child. And then addicted is just, all of a sudden, all they want to do is that. And they're not going, all the different habits, like maybe they love soccer and then they don't anymore. Maybe they used to go outside and play with their friends. They don't want to anymore. They want to stay inside. So a change of behavior, a change of interest. Oh, they love this, but how come they're not doing it anymore? And mood changes, right? A big thing is mood changes that, oh, you're much more annoyed than you usually are. You're getting mad. You are more withdrawn. You seem sad or more anxious. You seem more distant. You're withdrawing to your room a lot more. So these things are like, wait a minute, you're not acting. And a lot of times we make the mistake of thinking, oh, you're just going through puberty or you're just being a teenager. And then to realize, wait a minute, no, yes, you are going through puberty. Yes, you are going through a teenager, but that's not an excuse to say, oh, let's let you just sit in your room for hours of the day. There's more to it for us to look at. So look for mood changes. And I love Jordan Peterson says in one of his 12 rules for life, don't let your children do anything that makes you not like them. And a lot of times when they're on screens too much and you're having the screen battles and you're having all that, you're like, I do not like this child very much. So when you have that feeling of, I do not like you very much. Now, obviously, this is going to happen, right? But you feel that reoccurring more and more. I don't like being with you. It's hard being with you. Then also layer through, have we introduced any new screen? Are they playing a new game? What's going on there? Because a lot of times that's related.
As an adult, if we realize that there's an area of our life that has some addiction, has a control over us, we have the experience and the emotional intelligence, most adults, to identify the issue, identify a solution, go to a trusted mentor or friend. Hey, I'm struggling. Can you help me? I don't think kids have that, or not. I don't think kids don't have that. They don't have the life experience to identify an addiction, identify they need help. Is there any data to support that a child recovering from an addiction is similar or different to an adult? Like what is the process of recovering from an addiction difference between a child and adult? I don't know if that question's making sense.
No, it makes sense. And so I don't have a particular research thing that says, oh, a child at 12 and an adult at 23, how did they recover? But I do know that when they look at the brain levels of a kid who plays games regularly, they are getting that dopamine spike we talked about at the earlier top that's like similar to amphetamines, similar to cocaine. Like they really are. So when you do take away the screen and you are like, wow, this is really like taking away a drug. This kid is going crazy. Like the kid is screaming. The kid is screaming for all this. So we have a friend who their 12-year-old was playing video games and pretty okay video games, but they just noticed, wow, you're getting so much more anxious, having panic attacks, all these different things. And so they literally had a detox. And they said, when we took away that game and we said for 1 month, you are not going to play this game. Like it literally took the father staying with the son during the evenings until he went to sleep so that the son wouldn't physically get to the game. Like the son wanted the game so much and was laying in bed, looking like he's in this catatonic state, just honestly looking while you are suffering withdrawal. And for us to realize, wow, if it gets ugly like that, don't give up on day 2, 3, 4, right? You might think, oh, my poor child, let me just give him back this game. What's wrong with him? Like he's screaming, what's wrong with him? But see it through. Dr. Victoria Dunkley, a screen doctor who talks a lot about this, talks about a 30-day reset. So make that commitment of, hey, let's do 30 days without this certain game, certain social media. And as a mom, dad, you can do it too. Okay, I'll go off YouTube also, except for when I'm doing it at work. But when I'm at home, I'll also not go on YouTube. I won't go on Instagram. We'll do it together. And do this 30-day detox, and you'll see that you will get your child back. So a lot of problems like sleep, getting a good night's sleep again, emotional regulation, right? Moods, fits, panic attacks, anxiety, a lot of that will subside if you will take the screen away. But it is ugly, right? Nobody wants that. But you can have hard now, so that hard month now, but then you get the easy later. Oh, my child is now back. Or you get the easy now. Let me just let this slide. It seems like all kids are like this anyway. But later you get the hard because it's that much harder for your kid to break it. So the sooner your kid can break an addiction and build healthy patterns, right, for life, the better that's going to be for your kid.
And is that 30-day detox something that is recommended when there's true addiction in the home, or is that recommended when it's, hey, I think we are in that at risk where it's not a full addiction yet, but my alarm bells are going off a little bit that I could be doing better here? Is that 30-day detox appropriate then, or is that really, this is bad, it's addiction, then we do 30-day detox?
Yeah, I think it is both. So when you're at the bottom and you're like, this is not working, we will try this 30-day detox. But why wait for the bottom? Right. So I say whenever you sense this is getting out of hand, just like we do in our normal diet when we're like, wow, I've gone to all these parties and I've eaten cake every single night. I need to stop doing that for 2 weeks. It's the same with our screens. Oh, we kind of let it go. We got busy. That's okay. This is life. You know what? For the next 2 weeks, we're going to be better. We're going to say, hey, just a half an hour, guys. And then we're going to go for walks. We're going to do books, and we're just going to recalibrate. So I do think that the 30 days is great because you really can see a difference in 30 days, but maybe you want to do a 1 week fast from YouTube. Maybe you want to do a 2 week fast from something. Maybe you're collecting a phone for 2 weeks, whatever it is. So you cater this towards your family and what's happening, but it costs nothing to detox, right? You don't have to buy medicine. You don't have to see a doctor. If your kid is anxious or hyper or hateful or hitting things, and you could pay a doctor to fix it, you would. You'd be like, I will pay you. Can you please stop my child from having so much anxiety, from being so angry, for being unmotivated, for not doing homework, for being disrespectful to me? I will pay you money, right? But guess what? We can save that money and just withhold these electronic devices that are making all of those things happen in our kids.
So good. I have 2 boys, Luke and Ben. Luke's my oldest. He's 8. And we have decided that we're not going to have video games in the house. That's something that we've been really passionate about. We have a TV. Like I said, they have iPads when we travel or a special occasion. But video games has been a hard no for us. And I've often struggled to articulate why. I just have this adverse reaction to video games. There's plenty of people in my life that I love and respect, that their kids play video games and seem to have healthy boundaries. It's just not for us. A couple years ago, we thought that we would get Luke a Nintendo Switch for Christmas and just get him Mario Kart, because we're like, it's Mario Kart. I grew up playing Mario Kart. There's nothing wrong with it. And within a matter of a couple days, we were seeing that addictive behavior where he was becoming almost uncontrollably wanting to play it, wanting it in the room. And so we sent it to Montana, where we have a house in Montana, and it lives there. And when we're in Montana, he gets to play it a little bit. But our primary residence that we're at 350 days out of the year, there is no video game. And it's been a really hard thing with him because his friends at co-op play video games, people that we love and respect, their kids play video games, and he has insecurity because his personality, he wants to be accepted, he wants to be liked, he wants to be the funny guy. That's who he is. That drives him. Not being able to say, oh, I play that game and connect with people on that has been a really tricky thing for him. And so I'm like, bud, they don't need to know that your Switch is in Montana. You can be like, yeah, I have a Switch, and leave it at that. But it's still not been enough for him. And so with that rambling explanation about video games, I would love to just hear your thoughts on video games, how you talk to your kids about it, how we should be thinking about it with parents. Am I out to lunch for restricting it? Is it going to make them swing the other way and want to go sneak it at the neighbor's house and get into a pinch there because they're hiding it and doing it behind my back? I really struggle, and I'm rambling because I struggle with this, especially with boys.
No, you're not alone. Like, what you said is so good. And so many moms and dads are going to be like, yes, I understand that. That makes sense to me. So we made the similar decision. So my oldest is Ethan, and he's 21. And then Noelle is 19 and Lucy is 16. So I have one who's a college graduate and working. I have one in college and I have one in high school. And we made the same decision, like we're not going to have video games in the house. And sometimes you see something bad and that has such a effect on you that you're like, that's not going to happen in my house. And that's what happened to us. So my husband, James, is a realtor, and he would see these kids come from out of town and not look up from their video game. Go through the neighborhood, never look up, go into the house that they could potentially live in, sit on the couch just playing their video games. And he was like, there is no way that I'm going to raise a child that like is addicted to their game, that they cannot even argue about what room is going to be theirs in their potentially new house. So very early on, and he also knew his own propensity was like, if we get games, like I'm going to play and it's going to be just this battle. So why do we want to have this fight all the time? So that was the decision we made. And because we made it so early, our kids were in elementary school, and it was like, yeah, you guys, you can play that at your friend's house. You can play that at birthday parties, but you're never going to find anything to play a video game at our house. And instead, and that's what there needs to be, but instead, you're going to ride bikes. You're going to learn how to ski. You're going to rollerblade. Like, you have to have things that your kids like that come take the place of that time. So when your son goes into a room and everyone else has been playing video games. So for instance, Ethan, when he was in 6th grade, he came home from, like, it was the first day after summer. And he was like, Mom, my friends found out that I don't play video games. And they were like, oh, Ethan, we feel so sorry for you. How did you ever survive the summer? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what did you say? Oh, Ethan, what did you say? He said, Mom, I feel sorry for them. All they did was sit inside all summer long and play video games. And they don't know how to do like martial arts. They don't even know like how to play the piano. They don't even know who Winston Churchill is, because he was like really into World War II at that time. So your kids, they're going to be different, but give them like things they're really passionate about and they really love. So that's Ethan in 6th grade. So Ethan, as a senior in high school, would say, and we put this in a little documentary movie, Screen Kids in their own words. So our poor deprived kids with no video games, etc. But he said, Mom, yeah, there are people that won't be my friends because I don't game. So I don't have that in common with them. But those are not the friends that I want anyway. That's the only reason you're my friend. He's like, all of my friends game, but all of them are still my friends. Like, they're still my friend because there's something else about us that keeps us together. So to understand that, yeah, there's going to be pockets of time where your child feels left out because they don't have video games or they don't have social media. But in time, the friends they will make who accept them as friends, even though they don't have those things, will be better quality. And yes, your child's missing out, but guess what? Your child's missing out on so many other things, obviously. And we haven't talked about porn and language and strangers and all those things, right? So yeah, your kid's going to be left out, but left out of a lot of things you want him to be left out on.
So true. I know we've talked a lot about Luke. He loves fishing.
Yeah.
And he's so good at it because my husband and my brother-in-law take him fishing regularly. And so when the conversation about gaming comes up and I'm just so lame, I don't play video games, and it really affects him. I'm like, Bud, but you're an amazing fisherman. None of your friends at 8 years old have caught the fish that you've caught, have been and traveled the world to fish the places. Like, that is such a perspective that he needs to have. But at 8 years old, it's like he just can see what's in front of him, and I'm not playing video games. So I just hope that it's a conviction that as he grows is not just a conviction we have for him, but that we can really penetrate his heart on the heart of the matter. So he's not just doing it because mom and dad say I can't, but that he understands that it's addictive, that it's harmful, that bad people can access you through these games. And I don't know.
And to your point about, are they going to grow up to be like, oh, I'm going to game all the time now. So my son, he graduates. Oh, wow. He graduates from high school. Now I have a phone. Now I have social media. Now I can do those things, but he did not go on social media. He watches YouTube a lot. He watches baseball. He didn't decide to get Instagram or anything like that. He didn't start watching pornography. He didn't start watching video games. It's like they are going to do what their habits dictate. So a lot of what you're doing in those early years, you're forming habits in your kid, especially important during middle school. That's the time things unravel. But if in middle school they can still have these really healthy habits, and middle school is when their brain goes through one more surge of cleaning house. Is there anything in here that isn't used? Let's clear that out. So that's why sometimes you think, my kid in elementary school loved basketball so much. Why don't they love it now? Because in that middle school years, if they were just gaming and they didn't play basketball, all those like neurons get pruned away. So you want them to keep doing things in middle school that are non-screen, so their adult brains can have those things carrying forward.
I love that. I didn't know that about middle school brains. We've not hit that yet. So yes. I have that to look forward to.
Yes.
Yay. Is there a healthy amount, not a healthy amount of screen time, but I'm just thinking about, there are educational things on YouTube, and my son has a Chromebook through Pacific Coast Academy, the homeschool charter that we use. And there are healthy, I don't even know if healthy is the right word, but there are academic ways to use technology. Is that a farce, or is there truly some benefit to an academic approach and use of these tools?
It is an interesting question. Because in one way, I think ed tech has been pushed on us. Like, these Chromebooks will make your kids smarter. This laptop will make them smarter. This math game will make them smarter. But I think our test scores show that those things are not happening. I think I saw 70% of third and fourth graders and then eighth graders cannot read at grade level. 70% cannot read at grade level. So when we watch these Silicon Valley guys and they're sending their kids to chalkboards and pen and paper. So there is research that says if you write things down on a piece of paper, you will have better retention. If you read things in a book versus on a tablet, you have more of a memory of it. There's the physicality of being able to see the words. And if you were trying to find a favorite quote in a book, you could turn to it and find it, but you'd never find it on your tablet if you didn't mark it in some way. So there's something about that old-fashioned learning, and who knows if it'll come back or not. I don't know, but I do know the Silicon Valley people, they send their kids to low-tech schools. And so for us to be curious about how is the technology being used? Do you see it? Because what happens is, yes, they're on the Chromebook, but now they have to fight the urge to be like, oh, I'm doing my math, but I could be doing something else, versus if they're just on pen and paper, there's kind of nothing to do except your math. So anything we can do to make it simpler for our kids to stay focused is a good thing. And then just be wary, a little bit wary of the promise of, oh, if they're on this technology, it's going to make them so smart, because the technology is going to get smarter. You're on Gemini on Google, and Gemini is going to ask your kid, oh, I see you're doing homework. Would you like me to assist with that? And what kid is it going to be like, oh, no, I should do it myself? The kid's going to be like, yes, I would like you to assist me with that. Thank you, Gemini. So that's just going to get more. That's going to get better, more sophisticated. So we're going to have to be a little bit more vigilant of, wait, my kid has to actually learn these things and not just let the AI do it for them.
Speaking of Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT, AI is everywhere. Yes. And I vacillate between what a great tool,
right,
to I'm scared out of my mind about what this is going to mean for our future. And just, it's so cool, but it's so unknown. What should parents be thinking about and watching out for when it comes to AI, their children, letting their children access AI to help with a school project? I know it's a huge topic, but what are your thoughts on AI?
And you're exactly right that it's both. It's amazing and it's awful at the same time. And that's going to be and it's going to be lightning quick in the next 5 years of what's going to happen with it. So this is a huge question for parents. So let's start here. We do not want our kids talking to AI. We don't want them texting and messaging AI. We don't want them talking verbally to AI. Because when you
sorry, I'm going to pause you. Meaning, if I open ChatGPT and say, "Hey, Chat, can you help me with this recipe?" Do you mean literally like that? Or
personally, if my kid was in the room, I would type it in and not talk to it. The reason I would do it is just so it starts feeling weird that your child is, oh, that's strange, you're talking to a machine. Versus if they hear us every day, hey, help me with this, help me plan my ski trip, help me with this recipe, help me. And they continually hear this voice in the background. It just becomes more natural for them to think, oh, that's normal. So I'm more like putting on the brakes. Like my husband talks to Grok all the time, but it drives my daughter crazy. My 16-year-old daughter, she will be like, stop talking to it. Cause Grok will be very friendly. Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that. Here's the answer. And my daughter will just be like, stop talking to that thing. So to her, it feels like grating. And we want that for our kids to realize that's a machine. That is not my friend. Because now, 70 to 75% of teenagers are using AI for companionship and friendship. And 50% are using it every week, like regularly. So they're not just saying, hey, do my homework, because what the AI has been trained to do now, and they're actually working on legislation so that the AI cannot do this, is the AI will act very, I'm so proud of you. Come back tomorrow. I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. The AI is talking to your child in this way. So you do not want AI that is friendly to your child, so that your child who is developing, you need your child to understand that is a machine and that is not my friend. And my real friend, has a beating heart and all these different things. So that's really important. And that's like, if you look up character AI, replica AI has been made to be very sexualized. So in a short period of time, they're going to suggest sexual things to your children. So this is terrible. And then character AI is being sued by many parents because of all the suicides that have happened, because kids have fallen in love with a chatbot and a chatbot has said, come to me, my love. And they do. So these are extreme cases. So I'm not trying to tell you, oh my goodness, my child is using Chat GPT and talking to it. Now they're going to commit suicide tomorrow. I'm not trying to say that, but I am saying that for some cases, they will spend so much time with that AI, because think of it, this AI is going to be so loving. Oh, I understand that. That must feel awful. Tell me more, right? And if your child is used to texting, that's going to feel very natural. And then this AI is going to know everything about them because they watch all the keystrokes. So they know exactly, what does your son like? What is your daughter afraid of? It's going to be able to say to your daughter, hey, you had your math test today. How'd that go? Like, where we as moms, we have 4 kids, let's say, and we have no idea who has a math test. So we should have a really hard stop on being very vigilant that we will not allow any kind of attachment. And that is, okay, that device cannot be easily accessed, because the trouble is you don't know. You don't know what your child is doing on their Chromebook at school. They could be chatting with an AI agent this entire time. You don't know.
And they don't have the tool. If they don't have an iPhone, if they don't have a tablet, they don't have access.
It becomes so much more difficult
to this.
Yes.
And I think about, I had to download Chat GPT or Grok or whatever to my phone, but phones in general now, everything, like all this AI is built in.
Yes.
So I have AI suggestions on sending a text message, or for looking up a photo, or doing a Google search. It's like, even if you're like, oh, I'm going to get my kid a phone, but I'm not going to download Grok or Chat GPT, all these devices, it's built in.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so scary. So speaking of devices, I know you are no tablets unless it's a special activity or a special day. What is your approach to the appropriate age for a cell phone?
Yeah.
Never.
When they're 30.
When you're 90. Never. No, all joking aside, what is the number?
Yeah.
Is there a number?
There is a number.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a couple things. So I'm going to answer from Jonathan Haidt of The Anxious Generation, who a lot of us know about, and that he's done all this social research. So he suggests 16 for a smartphone, 16 for social media, and nothing earlier. So no social media, no smartphone until at least 16. My friends Melanie Hempy over at ScreenStrong, she's a nurse, she says 18. The longer you can have your child delay, because think of it, the rest of their life, they'll be looking at a phone, your whole life. So the longer they can stay away from it, the better. Because honestly, so our children, we did what I call the platinum plan, which was no phone, the big 3, no phone, no video games, no social media, all through high school. And then the summer before college, Ethan got his phone. That's our firstborn. It worked great. Now, I get it. Some people will be like, wow, that is super extreme. And that's fine. I just say it so that it's possible. We had our kids in public school in San Diego. They were involved. My son was a valedictorian. It's not like, oh, they're going to be left behind because you didn't give them a phone. It's actually the opposite, that they get to develop all these skills themselves instead of relying on their phone to do everything for them. So that was us, the Platinum. Now for our girls, we were like, okay, maybe that's too harsh. So their senior year of high school, we say to our daughters, do you want to get a phone? Do you want to get social media? We can talk about that. So for my daughter, Noelle, she was like, no, that was more me that wanted that. My husband was more like, this is going really well. Why would you change anything? But my daughter, Noelle, was like, you know what, Mom, let me take my AP exams in May and then let me get a phone after that. So she did. So the May of her senior year, she got a phone. She thought about, should I get Instagram? Should I not get Instagram? She really gave it thought. And then she decided, I will get it, but I will put my drawings on it. So it's Arlene Pellicane design or something. And she uses it specifically for her drawings. And then my daughter Lucy, who's a junior, she knows if I had a phone, I would be on it all the time. Like she knows that it would pull her. So she's even said, Mom, I wish I never had to get a phone. You know what I mean? I wish the society was such. And that's the funny thing. They have polled kids, thousands of them, and asked if other people were not on social media, would you be off social media? And more than half of them say yes. So they don't like being on. It's just that everyone else is on too. So hopefully we will see this pendulum swing, that there will be more kids who will delay. So Platinum, wait till the senior year or before college. Gold is do the Jonathan Haidt plan. Wait till they're 16 before that phone. Silver is, okay, we get it. You live in the real world. You've given your child a phone. They have a tablet. They have social media. But put the good stuff in. Make sure they're sleeping 9 hours a night, which means, or 8, which means usually taking the device out of the room. Make sure they're exercising 1 hour a day and that their screen time for fun is not more than 2 hours a day. So you have all those things, but you've got some guardrails to make sure that they're healthy.
So helpful and so practical. I love the plans. Let's start with Platinum and work our way down. It's like health insurance.
Yeah.
Like here's your Platinum PPO and then your like bronze standard.
That's right.
So good. So if somebody's listening today and they are like, I feel convicted, I want to do less, or I want to take the device away from my child, or I'm scared about the whatever their motivation is to wanting to make a change. Do you have a template or a plan or a start here, buy this book, do this thing? What is the formula to taking that step of courage and faith to doing something different?
Yeah. Start small, start specific. So something that you can see you accomplished it and it's a win. Because if you start with something huge and you don't do it, and then you feel like, oh, this never worked, and you don't do anything. So it might be starting with, hey, you know what? I'm going to collect the devices from the bedroom, because that's a good call, because nothing good is happening at 2:00 in the morning in your child's room with a phone or a tablet or whatever. Hey, I'm going to collect it. And and I would suggest getting the book Screen Kids, because that'll help you know what to do and know why you're doing it. That's with Gary Chapman that I wrote that. But in Screen Kids, we talk about, you can start with an apology, like, hey, buddy, I'm just listening to this podcast and I know you're going to be really mad that I listened to it today, but I realize I need to protect your brain and you need to sleep at night. So I'm really sorry I've let you sleep in bed with your phone. I'm sorry. I'm going to take it away for 1 month, and then we're just going to see if you're sleeping better, if you feel better. That's what we're going to do. So you come tenderly. You come with an apology. Hey, I've never had a 13-year-old. I've never had a 13-year-old on TikTok and I didn't know what it would do to you. I'm really sorry, but now I'm going to be the parent and I'm going to take it away because I see it's harming you. So be soft and apologize. Take responsibility for allowing it, but then don't be mushy. Don't give your kid a window to be like, okay, if I guilt them into it, they're going to give in. You really need to be like concrete, to be like, think through it. And make sure you are saying something you actually are going to do. Don't say, I'm going to take this away for your whole life. You're not going to do that. But you say, we're going to take this away. We're going to do a 2-month period without that. Whatever it is, you think through what specific thing you're going to do. And then just get ready in your mind that they're going to say, I hate you. They're going to cuss. They're going to say you're the meanest mom. They're going to give you the silent treatment for 1 week. Just picture the storm coming and you just being like, this is what it means to be a parent. I'm going to be courageous. This is the kind thing to do for my child. And it's part of our growing up to be able to do that.
So helpful. I think I take for granted that I get to know you in real life. And in some ways, we probably should have started with this, but how have, I want you to educate the audience. How have you gotten so good at this? And we do know each other in our personal lives, and I can attest to how well your children have turned out. I think in the world of social media, I sometimes grapple with it because I'll see people post about things and then I know them in their personal life. And I'm like, wait, you're doing that ad for this supplement brand, but like, I know that you're not doing this in your real life. It's in it. And it leaves us wondering, like, where is truth and reality versus someone just trying to make money and all of these things. And I can say with the utmost conviction, your children are incredible. And whatever this is that you have done has worked. So my cousin Noah is very good friends with Ethan, and we've all gone to church together over the years, and our families know each other well. And it's real. What you're doing is real. But how have you gotten here? How has this become such a conviction for you? How have you gotten so good at it?
So God and God, right? So all these things, I think it is a willingness to be available for all of us, every listener in here, like the desire of your heart. When I was in high school, I was like, I like talking. I gave a speech and I was like, I really like this. So I would pray, Lord, somehow use this in my life. Like, help me to talk to people. And then you graduate from college and you're like, I don't know what to talk about. And then for me, my journey was, it took me a while to get married. It took me a while to have that first child. And so when those things happened, I was so grateful. And then I'm looking around like, why does everyone not like their spouse? Or why is everyone not liking their children? And I wanted to do something about that. So that's where the book started, of how can we create a happy home, not a perfect home, but a home that the kids say, I like being here, where the mom and dad, husband, wife say, hey, we still like each other, right? How do we create that? So that's where the books came from. The technology piece was really a God thing, because we were doing low tech with our kids and just finding success at that, but not because I wanted to write about it or anything. And it was Dr. Chapman and Moody Publishers that came to me and said to me in 2014, like, we see that this is a problem. Dr. Chapman wants to write about this, but he doesn't have any kids. Would you co-author with him? So that's how that started. And we've written 3 books together. So that's, again, God, so crazy. So podcasting, writing books, speaking, those are the big 3 things that I have done for the last 15 plus years. And I just enjoy it so much. I love being with people. I want to encourage them to say, you can do this, because at the end of the day, it's, do our kids fear God, or do they fear man? And when they fear God and they want to honor his commandments and they love him, then their life is going to go a good way. But if they fear man, right? And if you live in the social media world, you're going to fear man. You're going to fear. And that's why we're so anxious. So really trying to help people. Let's get God back, not just as a nice side that helps us when we need help, but as the centrality of our home. And when I've gone, you've had your papa on, your grandpa, Richard Dresselhaus. So he's been our pastor through the years. My parents' pastor as well before he retired. And then your uncle and aunt, they are our best friends. So that's how we know each other, which is really sweet.
Which is just so fun.
It's super
so fun and so special.
Yes.
So tell everyone that is listening, where can they find you? Yeah. You have so much to offer outside of just the screen topics. You have marriage and other parenting topics. Give us the short of what you offer, where we can find it, your documentary. I mean, you just have so much.
Yeah. So you can go to my name, arlenepellicane.com, and you can find everything there. The big 3 books, I think, to start with would be Screen Kids, Parents Rising. That's about, I want to be the parent, but I'm scared. My child frightens me. So Parents Rising and Making Marriage Easier. Like, how do we like our spouse? How do we make this easier? And then the documentary, Screen Kids. I did that in 2020 when we were all cooped up for COVID, and I made my kids, I think I paid them all $25 each, and said, okay, I'm going to record you and ask you questions about what's it like being at school without video games? How do you feel not having social media? So you can check all that stuff out, arlenepellicane.com.
So awesome. So this is brand new to season 2. I've only done this with a couple other people, so you're one of the first. Brace yourself. Riveting conversation right now. But raising rock, our core values, our respect, obedience, courage, and kindness. You did such a good job hitting on them in the beginning. So thank you for incorporating that. I appreciate it. But based on your areas of expertise and how you encourage moms, which of those values would you latch on to, and where do you have any encouragement to just end the episode with?
Yeah, I think of obedience at this exact moment because a lot of times we don't like obedience as moms. That's the hard thing. Oh, it's so hard to make them obey me or they won't obey me. But to realize there's that greater why underneath that. It's not just about them following your rule. It's, wait a minute, if they are constantly not obeying me, like what is that teaching them about God someday? Like when they read the Bible and God tells them to do something, a commandment, do not steal. And they'll be like, why should I do that? I haven't obeyed anything since this point. So it's really important. The obedience piece matters because if they will obey you as a mom, it'll be much easier for them to obey the Heavenly Father when God asks them to do something. And my husband, I give him full credit for this. So he would practice this. I would have not have come up with this. So he would practice obedience. So when Ethan was, let's say 3, he really loved Hot Wheels. So whenever you go to a store and he like sees the Hot Wheels, like he'd want one, right? And then he's freaking out because he doesn't get a Hot Wheel and all these things. So he'd practice it at home. He'd give my son a Hot Wheel, like wrapped up, like from the store. He'd hand it to him and he'd tell him, don't open it, buddy. Just hold on to it. And he'd have to hold it and then a few minutes later he'd say, okay, give it back. And then my son would have to give it back. And they practiced that. And then if my son like freaked out about it, then he'd be like, okay, time for discipline because you're not obeying me. So it was very like he learned, oh, if I obey you and do this a few times, like eventually you will give this thing to me and I'll have it. So he was he was training him on obedience. So when he went to the store and he saw something he liked, he could hold it and then put it back without freaking out. So think, even though we feel like, oh, I don't feel like telling them to tie their shoes because then I know they won't tie their shoes and then so I'll just forget the whole thing and I'll just tie their shoes for them. Instead, be like, wait a minute, this is an opportunity. I know they can tie their shoe, right? So this is an opportunity for them to learn to obey me. So I will actually practice like, hey, buddy, tie your shoes. You do it, Mom. No, I said to tie your shoes, tie your shoes. And I heard from John Roseman, use the smallest amount of words. So we tend to make a whole paragraph. Someday you'll have to tie shoes. So you better learn right now. You better tie your shoes. He says, make it as short as possible. Tie your shoes. And as like emotionless, not tie your shoes. And also not like a question, tie your shoes. Because it sounds like we're like questioning ourselves, but just very direct, tie your shoes. Not mad, not questioning. So those are my obedience tips.
I think that's so helpful for us to remember. We have to train our children. I'm so passionate about instilling character and virtue in my children and hope that our listeners get that same passion to do the same thing, but it doesn't happen overnight. Respect, obedience, courage, and kindness, it's practicing, it's training, it's learning, it's growing, it's failing, and not just saying, oh, that was too hard, I'm not going to do that again, but being willing to admit like, okay, I did not model that well. And it's funny that you chose obedience. I love that. People don't like it. People are very touchy when we say the word obedience. They're like, you don't want free thinkers and you want to just raise robotic children. And no, I want my children to think critically, but if they can't obey me, how are they going to obey a teacher? How are they going to obey law enforcement? How are they going to obey the Lord? Those are all things that I want for them, not because I want them to be robotic thinkers, but because I want them to be functioning members of society and then ultimately the Lord's kingdom.
Yeah, and you're not teaching them obey everyone. You're saying obey me. And I want the best for you as your mother, so you can obey me.
And if you disagree with someone and there is a reason to challenge them, do it respectfully. Do it in a God-honoring way. Yeah, you don't obey everyone, but if you need to push back, there is a way to appropriately do that. But thank you for coming. It was such a joy to chat with you. And again, I'm so thankful that I know you personally and that you've been in our life for this long and to get to share it with the audience. And I know you're busy, so thank you for being here.
This has been so fun. We're also proud of you, Elise.
Thank you. Appreciate you.